Besides my personal experience, there has been a lot of research showing that people who are more self-compassionate tend to be less anxious and depressed. The book Self-Compassion explains that self-criticism and feeling inadequate are strong factors in experiencing depression and anxiety. And as we shut down emotionally, all we see is doom and gloom, as our negative mindset colors all our experience. Christine Neff, the author of the book, calls it the black goo mind. Our brains have a negativity bias, meaning we're way more sensitive to negative information rather than positive. With others or ourselves, we tend to notice negatives way more quickly. So let's say you had a pleasant evening with a friend, and then at one point you said something you shouldn't have. From that point on, you won't be able to stop thinking about it. Even probably on your way home, you'll still be thinking about it, forgetting all the good moments that happened that evening as well. There's a reason for this. In the natural environment, any negative information typically means a threat and is important to stay alive. Like if there is a lion or a tiger nearby and you need to run, it triggers the amygdala part of the brain, which is responsible for the fight or flight response. But we no longer live in that environment where everything negative means a threat, but our brain still reacts that way. When we get a negative thought, it repeats itself over and over like a song stuck in your head. This process is called rumination. When you have a negative thought or worry on repeat on your mind and you can't seem to stop thinking about it, which can lead to major distress. Rumination about negative events in the past leads to depression, and rumination about potentially negative events in the future leads to anxiety. That's why anxiety and depression come hand in hand. They both come from a tendency to ruminate. If you're one of those people who can't let go of negative thinking, it's important not to judge yourself for it as part of self-compassion. Remember that it's just your brain's way of trying to keep you safe and sound, and it is something to be grateful for. Research found an interesting tendency that self-compassionate people tend to experience fewer negative emotions such as fear, irritability, or distress than those who lack self-compassion. Those feelings still come up, but they're not as frequent or persistent. That is because self-compassionate people were found to ruminate much less. They're able to notice the negative emotions and hold them in non-judgmental awareness. They're able to pay attention to it without getting stuck. Mindfulness helps us see that negative thoughts and emotions are just that, thoughts and emotions, not necessarily reality. That those negative thoughts and emotions can be observed and not necessarily believed, allowing them to arise and pass without any resistance, without getting stuck in our heads. Sometimes being mindful and just observing the thought may not be enough. No matter how hard we try, we just keep getting back to it. In that case, we need to use the other two components of self-compassion. We need to actively soothe our pain with self-kindness, and we need to remind ourselves that we're only human and we're not alone. In that moment, we can start feeling cared for, accepted, and secure. We can balance the dark energy of negative emotions with the bright energy of love and social connection. By using self-compassion, we can stop focusing on the negative emotions and start helping ourselves by asking, how can I calm and comfort myself right now? Important to note that self-compassion is not simply eliminating and not feeling the negative emotions, but realizing that it's okay to do so and being kind and understanding to yourself in that moment. There was this study done to prove that you can't stop thinking certain things no matter how hard you try. Group 1 was asked to think about anything for 5 minutes. Anything except a white bear. And if they thought of a white bear, they had to ring a bell. As soon as the time started, the bell started ringing without stopping. The second group was asked the same thing. But before they started, they had some time to go ahead and actively visualize the white bear. Needless to say, when the time did start, way less bells rang this time. This shows that it's not possible to avoid negative thoughts, but if you allow yourself to go through them while being kind and understanding to yourself, it will get easier. Of course, the change won't happen overnight. It's not easy to change your thinking process and habits, but with some time and practice, it will be easier to start being kind and more compassionate towards yourself whenever you need it. Self-compassion and emotional intelligence go hand in hand. Emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and to use this information to guide your thinking and action. In other words, being aware of what you're feeling without letting it influence you, so you can choose how to act in a difficult situation. If you're mindful of your feelings and emotions, you don't have to let it consume you in the moment. You can realize that you need to take a walk to cool down before you have to say something hurtful to the person you care about. You can be in control over the situation without having your emotions run wild. Also, realizing your own emotions can help you understand what other people are feeling and thinking as well. If you're feeling mad or annoyed, chances are the other person is also feeling those things. So understanding how you can help yourself in the moment can allow you to help others as well. One thing that helps me in difficult situations is remembering that this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent, and even negative thoughts, emotions, or experiences will pass as long as I'm not trying to resist or avoid it. It is all temporary. If you would like an exercise to help you let go of difficult emotions and undesired thoughts, this might help. Take a few deep breaths and visualize yourself sitting beside a peaceful river. Visualize your thoughts as leaves floating downstream on the river. As each thought enters your awareness, acknowledge it without judgment or criticism. Imagine placing each thought on a leaf and letting it float away down the river. As you watch your thoughts float away, remind yourself that it's normal for the mind to wander, and that it's not a sign of weakness or failure. Place your hands over your heart and say to yourself, "May I be kind to myself in this moment. May I accept my wandering mind with compassion and understanding." Take another deep breath and bring your attention back to the present moment. By practicing this exercise regularly, you can develop a greater sense of mindfulness, self-compassion, and emotional well-being. Remember that it's okay to have wandering thoughts. Simply by observing them and letting them go, you can develop a greater sense of mental clarity and inner peace. Comment down below if you have any useful tips or exercises on how to get rid of those difficult thoughts and emotions, as I'm very interested to learn. And I will also link more resources for you down in the description below. Self-Compassion by Christine Neff is a great book on the topic if you would like a more practical guide on how to start on this journey. This book was actually the inspiration for this video, and it goes into way more detail about everything. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to lead a more happy and peaceful life, as I will be making more videos about the topic, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you to everybody who stuck around until the end, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye!